Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos. In today's video, we are going to be doing a CGC unboxing. But this is not a typical unboxing. I know exactly what's in here, and I know exactly what the grades are. This is a follow-up video to a video that I put out a few weeks ago where I got back a 9.8 pre-screen submission. And as it turned out, the labels on 5 of the books were completely wrong. Some of the mistakes I understood, they switched books that were very similar. Some of them didn't make any sense. So I contacted customer service and I let them know, and they said I could go ahead and send them back in for a reholder. Well, while I was at it, I decided, you know what? Some of the books in this submission have tiny, minuscule, little flaws. I'm going to go ahead and send those back as well. Get perfect, pristine holders for my trouble. And here they are, back right here today. And I'm going to unbox them. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to assess them. We're going to see if they fixed the labels that they should have fixed. And we're going to see if the cases themselves have no blemishes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start opening this. While I do it, I'm going to let you know I sent this out to CGC via UPS on May the 25th. Today, as I record this, and the day it was those box was returned is June 13th. It took 20 days door to door from my home back to my home for this submission to be fixed and returned to me. That is very good. I'm very happy with a just about 3-week turnaround for this correction. So let's see here. So here are my 10 books. None of them came back raw, so they didn't kick any of them back to me. These are all still 9/8, so that's great. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look and we're going to see if there are any errors on them. Now, as I show you this first one, this is my Something is Killing the Children, issue number 18. This is the 1 in 25 variant. Let me tell you some things about dealing with customer service and fixing problems that you may have with your submission. Now, getting things fixed is easier than it's ever been. All you have to do, you don't even have to ask CGC's permission. If you have a legitimate issue with your submission, the labels are wrong, you have some nasty Newton rings, there's a lot of marks and flaws in the case, all you have to do is log on to CGC, open up a new submission just like you would any other submission. Pick the mail-in option, and underneath the mail-in option is the mechanical error option. I'll put it on the screen so you can get a sense of visually what that looks like. All you do is after hitting that option is you add books using the certification number, this number here, right above the barcode. And then when you're done, it's going to ask you the dimensions of the box that you're going to send it back in and how much it weighs and all that stuff. So make sure you have that information handy. Once you enter all that information, it's going to print out a label for you, free of cost. You're just going to pack up your books. You're going to send them back to CGC using that postage paid label, and they're going to handle it for you. Now, 2 things to keep in mind. 1, if you send stuff back frivolously, meaning you're just taking advantage of the honor system that exists there and the issues are not really issues, CGC is going to charge you. They're going to be like, no, I'm not buying it. I'm going to charge you. In fact, I double checked with them and I said, I've got some pretty minor issues with some of the cases. Is it still okay if I send those back? They go, you have an issue with the case, send it back. So they didn't charge me for that. So issues with the case having minor flaws is a legitimate reason to send stuff back if you want to go ahead and do that. So it's pretty easy. Just don't throw in other submissions in the box, because otherwise they're going to start charging you for the shipping and stuff like that. In addition, you have 2 weeks from the time that your package was received to send these books back to CGC. I know I've had some wonderful people who have volunteered their submissions to me for my videos who have waited a while before I would have the opportunity to unbox their submission. If there have been any problems and it was past the 2-week mark, those corrections are going to be at your expense. So generally speaking, I highly advise you open up your packages from CGC right away so that you can assess them, and if you have to return any of them, you can do so within the 2-week period allotted. Okay, enough of that. Looking at this, first and foremost, the label is correct. This is issue number 18. Something is Killing the Children, the variant cover, and the case looks great. No Newton rings. Let me tell you, look, it's got some scuff marks on the back. You know, it's near impossible these days to get perfect books back from CGC. These cases should be in better condition, but oftentimes they're not. You have to decide for yourself whether or not you're cool with the cases that you got back, or if you want to have them corrected. This is the Something is Killing Children issue number 19. This is the foil version of the 1 in 25 variant. This is the correct label now, so that is good. And there are no Newton rings, no major scuffing. It's got some of these little flaws on the back. I don't know if you can see them in the camera. You know, I'm gonna have to take a really close look at these after I make this video and see if I'm like, no, dude, I'm gonna send them all back again. But I doubt I'm gonna have that problem. Okay, and here is its twin, the non-foil version. This is the 1 in 25 of issue 19. This says variant, it doesn't say foil edition like this one. This is the correct label. It's got a little bit of, oh no, these all have that little booger right there. Yeah, I mean, these still have some of these little cloudy little marks on the back. I'm inclined to forgive certain things if they're on the back. I returned some of these because there were little marks on the front where the grade was, things that would draw people's attention away from the book and the grade potentially. See, like, well, first off, this is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 11. I returned this one because I didn't like the case. This one does have scratch marks. It might be hard to see, they're very light, but maybe the light will catch it. It has scratch marks, it has a row of scratch marks that go all the way up the side here. I mean, it's frustrating that they can't just, whoever they have making their cases and however they handle them at CGC, that they can't do it in a fashion, it's on the back here on this side as well, I don't know if you can see it, that they can't handle them in a fashion that doesn't create any kind of damage. They should be pristine, but they often aren't. Now I'm in a situation where I have to decide, has it become more trouble than it's worth? And that's always a legitimate question. This one is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 10. This one I sent back because I was unhappy with the case. The case for this one looks pretty good, but I will tell you something. This book, it's not a 9.8. I know it says it's a 9.8, but there is a little color breaking spine tick right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. There's lots of little puckerings along the spine, little stress marks that don't quite break color, but that little dot right there, in my estimation, that should take it out of a 9.8. But CGC says otherwise, and they're the experts, so I can say that that's a 9.8. This is, see, man, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is Something That's Killing the Children, issue number 1. This is the foil version. This I returned because I was unhappy with the case. And this case has some little flaws on it. But what bugs me a lot, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. If you can't, I'll try to take a picture and show it. But right there across the 9.8, there's a big old little mark. Big old little mark. It's a pretty definitive mark, and it's right on top of the grade where everybody's going to look at the grade and they're going to be like, hey, what's that scuff mark? Now there's probably people out there that could tell me that there's some kind of compound, some kind of chemical that I could use to rub on plastic to remove those marks. Maybe there is, but this should not have that kind of mark on it. I don't know what's up with that. Hopefully I didn't just throw the camera fantastically out of focus and now I'm just a blur. We'll hope for the best. Next is Nocterra issue number 1. This is the glow-in-the-dark edition. They had switched this with the regular A cover, but now it is correct. Yes, this is indeed the glow-in-the-dark version, and the label represents that correctly. This also has fine scratches all over it. Nothing too gnarly, but definitely some fine scratches here on the back that you can see in the light if it catches it just right. It's a shame. It's a shame. This CGC should have more quality control with this product. Whatever company they're getting to make these cases, they should tell them our collectors demand them to be perfect, and you can't send us ones with flaws. This one also has a mark right on top of the 9.8 there. Not as bad as the other one, but another mark. This is the Nocterra issue 1, the A cover. Other than that, it looks pretty good, but I mean, I returned this book in particular because of the label being incorrect, which is something I would have done, which I would never question myself. I would always return it if the label's incorrect. But I could potentially live with some flaws. But some flaws, man, I just don't feel the need to have to live with them. And basically, they just traded out slabs with flaws for other slabs with flaws. This is Department of Truth issue number 12. This is a foil Simmons foil edition that was from Dallas Fan Expo from last year, I believe that's what it's called, from Scott's Collectibles. Yeah, this case looks pretty good. I think it's better than the one I had before. It's not perfect. It's got this big scratch mark right there. I don't know that any single one of these cases has been perfect. And then here we have The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 55. This is this great webhead art of Spider-Man from Patrick Leeson. This case is in decent condition. I swear this book, though, I mentioned it in my original video, this book is damaged. I don't know that it's still a 9.8, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have ever chosen this book when I had the handful of them to choose from because of this mark right here, and I'm pretty sure I didn't submit it with that mark, but it's up there still. When they reholdered this, they didn't deem that to be reason to regrade it and potentially downgrade it, so it's still a 9.8, but I have to question the legitimacy of that 9.8. But the case itself looks okay. It has another little scratch right there on top of the 9.8. It's a horrible place to have a mark. Part of what I'm protecting for is I don't want to someday decide to sell this book. And I hand it to somebody and they're like, oh, it looks pretty good, what's that mark right there on the book? Well, I don't know. It's, I said, I don't know. I don't know what that mark is. It's still a 9.8 as far as CGC is concerned. Yeah, and it's also got this, this scratch there on the 9.8. How about we take down the price 20%? I don't want to give people excuses to negotiate me down. And people use flawed cases as reasons to negotiate. Now, should we have a grading system for the cases? No. I mean, obviously, the book is what matters, not the case, and people should probably lighten up a little bit on making sure the case is perfect, because often it's not going to be. But at the same time, you want your nice collectible to be in a nice case. That's part of the service you're paying for. The fact that CGC so consistently doesn't deliver in that department is frustrating, to say the least. I don't know what I'm going to do with these books. I have to think about it. I have to assess them some more. I may send some of them back just to kind of sort of teach CGC a lesson. It's a pain in the butt, and it creates a time that I have to be very patient, but possibly it'll be worth it, and then possibly it'll be fruitless, and I'll just keep exchanging bad cases for other bad cases. So I'm going to have to decide for myself. It's a shame that I feel defeated to a certain degree, that I feel like, oh, why bother? I should bother because CGC should bother. Anyways, End of rant. If you liked this video and it was interesting to you, likes are appreciated by me. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.